Welcome traders to the second video in our tutorial series on using the Tickblaze Dome. In this video, I'm going to go into more detail about all the various adjustments that you can make to the settings and controls in the domes. The first thing I want to mention is that these columns, of course, can be moved around. If you don't like the layout of them the way they are by default, you can adjust them. You can adjust their widths as well. You can pick them up and move them around. I can move net delta, say, over here if I prefer that. As I mentioned in the previous video, you can go into your table settings and to histogram settings, and you can change all your different colors for these different histograms. You can also choose whether things are left or right aligned. So that is all able to be adjusted by you. You can make your own templates and save and apply them as you wish at a later date to as many different domes as you want. Now, next is the compact trade pad down here. Again, as I mentioned in the previous video, this is very similar in functionality to the full trade pad that is on a regular chart. So if you aren't already familiar with that, I suggest you familiarize yourself with the trade pad. Most of the feature set is there. There are a few things that are different, but let's get into those now. Obviously, some of the buttons are a little bit different. The wording on them is just compacted, been abbreviated to fit them in a tighter space. The center button doesn't exist over here on the chart version because it doesn't really make any sense within the context of a chart. But of course, for centering the dome, you can do that. Or as I mentioned, you can double click in the price. It's already centered. You've also got your options for quantity size of your orders. You can do your quantity size itself or the increments of these up and down arrows. You can change those independently. And of course, it has its own account settings as well. And this is important to not lose sight of. These accounts are unique per chart and per dome. So for example, in this particular case, I'm connected to a prop shop account. And so I'm on sub account number 9 here, but I'm on sub account number 15 over here. That means that if I were to place orders here or on the chart, they're not going to show up on each other's chart and dome, even if I'm on the same symbol. So for example, this dome is on MYM, this chart is on MYM. But if I place an order on the chart, let's say I place an order just a little bit below price like here,
Order
it does not
pending.
show up there. I don't see it there. And that is because I'm on a different account. If I cancel, actually, I won't cancel that order. I'll just change the account here. So this is account 15. This is account number 9. So if I change this to number 9, I'm going to see the order. And I can move it here and you'll see it move on the
Order
chart.
modified.
And now they are linked because we're looking at the same symbol in the same account. So don't lose sight of that if you want to be able to see things in multiple different windows at the same time.
Order
Order,
canceled.
and you can see it cancels in the chart as well. Now, again, as previously mentioned, you can resize the trade pad and make it smaller or larger. You can also double click the divider and the whole thing will just disappear or reappear. That's generally my preferred way to hide the trade pad if I need to. Now, one other thing that is unique about the trade pad here on the dome is that dome traders, traditionally the view of the dome is you're placing orders at very specific prices. You know where you want to stock out price. Maybe I want to front run this liquidity here on the sell
Order
side, and
pending.
maybe I want to front run this liquidity here on the buy side. So
Order
I'm interested
pending.
in bracketing price here. If it pushes down, I want to be a buyer. If it pushes up, I want to be a seller, right? That's a fairly conventional way to view,
Order
trading things
modified.
on the dome. But I'll go ahead and cancel all.
Order canceled.
Sometimes maybe you've been stalking out an area and all of a sudden price picks up a movement. It starts to take off without you and you just want to get in right now. You can just click the
Order filled.
market button,
Position
and
open.
you will mark it in right there on the spot. And you can also buy the bid. Of course, that places a limit
Order
order, which
pending.
did not fill here. Price moved away from it. But now I have a limit order there, which I can move around
Order
just like as if I
modified.
had placed it manually myself. But I did it by placing a buy bid order, which places a limit order at the bid. Buy ask would do the same thing. It would place a limit order at the ask, which is almost always going to fill right away. Let's see if I get a fill right now.
Order
Buy it,
filled.
and it filled instantly. So buying the ask, it's not technically guaranteed to fill, but more often than not, you're going to get a fill. Same thing on the sell
Order
side. If
canceled.
I sell the bid, I'm just hitting the
Order
bid and I'm
filled.
saying, get me out right now at the bid. It's not a market order technically, so if price just completely plummeted right after I placed the order, well, I'm not going to get a fill and I'm going to have a limit order sitting there. I can also sell the ask, which is going to place a limit order.
Order
And again, as you
pending.
can see here, it did not fill, which means it's now just a
Order
regular old limit order.
modified.
I can move it around, do what I want,
Order
drop it
filled.
in. Now it got filled.
Position closed.
So it all depends on what it is you're looking to do, but sometimes these buttons are really useful to have. If you find that you have, say, impulse control problems and you can't resist just marketing in all the time, and this triggers your gambler reflexes, perhaps, if you right click here, you can select show order buttons and uncheck it. And those order buttons go away. Now they're not there. You don't have to worry about being tempted to hit them or hitting them accidentally. They're just plain gone. I generally like to have them there. Sometimes they are quite useful, so I will leave them up. You can also decide whether you want to see your P&L for the day or not. Right now it is displayed, and when I'm flat, it will show me my daily P&L for this particular account. However, if I don't want to see that, because some people really don't like to see their P&L during the trading day, they only want to look at P&L when the trading is done. So you can uncheck this, and now your P&L goes away, and you don't have to look at it here in your dome. So up to you, but I usually will go ahead and leave it that enabled. I don't mind seeing it. Now, there are some other options as well, which are the TMS, the Trade Management Strategy. And you can see that is available here in the chart and the dome, and it works exactly the same way. I'm not really going to go over it in any great depth. I'll just enable it real quick, choose the default OCO in ticks, and you can see there's a bunch of different parameters and settings for dealing with a bracketed order. I can, handle how my position size is going to be calculated based on different things, set my bracket distances, and take profit distances, etc. I'm not going to get that into that here, but you can look up trade management strategy and get a sense of what that's doing if you want to find out more about how that works. But it's exactly the same in the dome or the chart. But be aware that the trade management enabled here has nothing to do with over here. It is enabled in the dome. It is not enabled here on the chart. So that also means your position size, be aware of this. Your trade management strategies have their own position size. And so that is going to be here, $500 worth of risk, or I can do a fixed size of, five, whatever. So you have your own position size here. If I enter a trade now with a trade management strategy, even though I'm set on a position size of one, let's go ahead and just hit market. I'm
Order
going to get in
modified.
with
Order
5.
filled.
And now I've got
Position
bracket
open.
of 4 and
Order
1. You can
pending.
see my bracket orders here. Here they are. I can move them around if I want
Order
to. If I
modified.
want to adjust them, move my stop.
Order modified.
So if that's what you want, 5, then I've now got a bracketed 5 lot order. But I was set to a 1 lot here.
Order
That is for
filled.
non-TMS
Position
orders. So
closed.
don't get confused
Order
on that.
canceled.
Uncheck TMS. Now, if I place a buy market order,
Order filled.
I'm going to enter
Position
one
open.
contract. So you can see it there, 1 long. That's it. Very simple. Just a simple position size based on this field here. But the TMS
Order
has
filled.
its own. So
Position
don't get
closed.
those mixed up. Now let's talk about a couple other settings here. In the right-click menu, you can go to Tool Settings, and there's a few different things here that you should know about. One is if you want to have cumulative depth shown. Let me show you what that looks like. I'll cancel for now. If we look at the top and bottom of our order book here, right? We've got the 10 levels of depth here, and that's it. It's just the levels of depth. There's nothing else. It keeps running away from me. I'll keep chasing it. If I go into Tool Settings, and I click Show Bid and Ask Cumulative Depth and hit OK. Now I have the cumulative number here on the top and the bottom. And this is the cumulative number of orders in the book on the bid side or the ask side. Some traders like to view that as a quick way to keep an eye on whether there has been a sudden large shift in the amount of volume at it's not technically the inside bid, but at the top, maybe 5 or 10 levels, something like that of the market. If there's a lot of interest in transacting suddenly picking up in the order book. So they'll keep an eye on that. I don't generally use that, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it back. Last trade size, I mentioned this in the previous video here. We've got the, whoops, come on, give me the current price. Nothing's trading. There we go. We just traded. The yellow means a trade, and it traded a 1 lot. So the number in parentheses is the number of contracts traded at that price. So right now, just a bunch of 1 lots going off. But if I don't want to see that last traded quantity at all, just go to Tool Settings, uncheck Show Last Trade Size, and now you don't see it. So if you don't want to be seeing that number floating around on your price, then you can just turn that off. Now, I'm going to skip stop limit offset for now. I'll talk about that in a second. But depth levels, pretty basic. It's set to 10 by default. This is going to depend a little bit on your individual data feed. Some data feeds provide the entire book worth of depth. Some only provide up to 20 levels, 50 levels. It depends on the data feed. So if I set this to, let's say I set it to 50, right? With my particular data feed, I'm on DX feed, and so I get 50 levels below and 50 levels above, and I can go higher than that. DX feed lets me go. I don't actually know if there's an upper limit. I've never tried to find it, but I certainly can do 100 levels on either side, and it will do that just fine. So your data feed may be different, but it's something to think about. If you want to see more levels of depth, some traders will want to see a lot more levels than just 10 on either side. Up to you. I'm going to go ahead and put this back to 10 now. Now, stop limit offset. If you are using stop orders, so what I can do is if I place a stop entry order, like let's say I place an order up here. Okay, I have a stop
Order
entry.
pending.
Right now, it is just an immediate stop order. So it is going to convert to a market order when it gets hit, and it will just mark it in right then and there. But what if I want to place a stop limit
Order
order
canceled.
where I want the stop to trigger the activity of the order, but I want the order that goes in to be a limit order? Go back to tool settings, and stop limit orders are entered with a hotkey. So we were pressing Alt, right, to just do a stop order, Alt left button. But if you do Control Alt left button, you will place a stop limit order. Right now it has a 1 tick offset, but let's give that something a lot more obvious. I'm going to give it a 10 tick offset so that you can clearly see what it's going to do. So Control Alt left button, and I will do that. Let's see, I'll do it. Well, yeah,
Order
I did it
pending.
here near
Order
price, and
filled.
yeah, it filled.
Position
The market
open.
suddenly decided to move. So that was actually kind of a poor example. Let me go ahead and close that
Order
out and try it
filled.
again. I'll do
Position
it much higher.
closed.
So I'm going to click here at 43,812, right? I'm going to Control Alt and click, but look where
Order
it went in.
pending.
It went in 10 ticks away because I told it to give me a 10 tick offset. So my limit order is actually up here. So that is where my stop limit order is going to actually be set. So that way, if I wanted to click, if I'm clicking around in price, and I do Control Alt and I click here, I get
Order
a little bit of
pending.
room away from
Order
price,
filled.
and it just filled.
Position open.
Oh, we're really moving around a lot today. So, that's how you can get stop limit orders if you want, and you can control the offset in those orders. I'm going to go ahead and use the right click close position here just to flatten
Order
that out.
filled.
There we go.
Position
And I still have
closed.
orders in, and I know that because my cancel all button is enabled. So I will
Order
all.
canceled.
Now I have no orders. And you can see the chart reflects the same because we're on the same account, same symbol. So I can see my orders going on. All right, let's go back into tool settings, see what else we have. Quantity modification. Most traders probably aren't ever going to need to change this or have any desire to change it, but I'll explain what it is anyway. The default setting is increase quantity of existing order. Here's what that means. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel. Whoops, hit cancel. And you can see this by looking at Rhythmic. So I'm actually going to bring up our trader here. And this is the easiest way to illustrate what's going to happen. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to place a limit order down below price. Okay. And I'm going to place that for, say, 3 contracts. Okay. I have a 3 lots chosen. I'm going to front run this liquidity here. So I'll click a buy order. There we
Order
go. It's a
pending.
3 lot, right? And it's a 3 lot here. Fine. Now, let's say I change that and I change it to a 6 lot.
Order
Return.
modified.
It changes in Rhythmic to a 6 lot. So whatever I change this to, if I make it a 20 lot,
Order
it becomes a
modified.
20 lot. So my changes just directly modify the existing order at Rhythmic.
Order
Now,
canceled.
however, let's change that, and we will change it to the other option, which is submit new order for additional quantity. Here's what that will do. Oh, we've moved down a little bit. So, all right, I'm going to place an order here. Again, it's a 3 lot, right? So I'll place a 3 lot. Okay.
Order pending.
And we have our 3 lot. Now I'm going to change this to a 5 lot. Hit return. And look what we
Order
have. We have our
pending.
original 3 lot, but now it's added a 2 lot for the additional size. Let's say I make this now a 10 lot. We're going to get an
Order
additional 5
pending.
lot. So we have a 3, a 2, and a 5. Now in the dome, we just see the single order, and I can move it
Order
around as a single
modified.
unified order, and it behaves like it's a single order. But in Rhythmic, they are individual separate orders. I never find I have any need for
Order
this feature,
canceled.
but some traders might want to manage their orders in such a way that they can, at Rhythmic, see each individual time that they chose to change the quantity of an order. They want them to be treated separately. So that's what that option is for, should you decide that you want to use it. Now, lastly, you can change the hotkeys that are used for modifiers to enter limit orders, stop limit orders, or market if touched orders. And you can experiment with these and see what they do. But it's pretty simple. You just choose a different set of modifiers, and you can then experiment on the dome to see what those different order types do. All fairly self-explanatory. I don't think you'll have any trouble figuring out how to utilize them. So that's it for the second video in our Dome tutorial series. You should now have enough understanding of the Dome's features and options to be able to use it in your own desktops. So for now, good luck and good trading.